Okay, before we do these sentences, I want you to open up your English book to page 95. So pause while you get your English book and open to page 95. Okay, there's a reference 66 that talks about editing a paragraph. Okay, so as we learned earlier, when we check sentences or a paragraph for mistakes, that's called proofreading. When you correct the mistakes, it's called editing. You've been editing sentences for capitalization, punctuation, and spelling mistakes. Now you will learn to edit a paragraph instead of a single sentence. When you edit a paragraph, you will still have an editing guide to help you, but it will be arranged a little differently. Look at reference 66. Notice that the end marks title has been moved to the front of the editing guide so you will know how many sentences are in a paragraph. The best way to edit a paragraph is to find each sentence and write the end mark for each one before you begin editing the rest of the paragraph. This allows you to identify the sentences before the paragraph gets crowded with other corrections. It also helps you find the first word of each sentence to check for capitalization. Okay, so let's go over this editing guide. Notice that there are 2 end marks, 19 capitals, 6 commas, subject-verb agreement 2, and misspelled words 1. Now, one hint on doing paragraphs. If you're having trouble identifying the sentences, read it out loud. If you're having trouble finding the subject-verb agreement, read it out loud. Sometimes, especially if you're a good reader, you'll skim over mistakes because in your head you'll just automatically correct them. So in looking at this one, which I've got here too, it talks about subject verb agreement. That means when you read it, Walter and I, notice what they have. Walter and I is watching the Wrangler National Finals. Okay, no, that would be Walter and I are. So you put the are up above. Don't change the subjects to go with the verb. Change the verb. Make sure you match the verb to the subject. So this is a compound subject, Walter and I, and that would have to be are. And then the next one, sometimes if you don't read out loud, you won't catch that. We hopes, Charmaine James and her horse. Okay, we hopes? No, we hope. So you put the correct verb up above. So that's how you do subject verb agreement. You must make sure the verb agrees with the subject that is there. That is how it will always be. You won't be changing the subject to match the verb. You'll change the verb to match the subject. And don't change the verb tense. In other words, if something's supposed to be in past tense, it has to stay in past tense. If something's in present tense, you leave it in present tense. Okay, let's move on to our sentences. I'm going to classify these sentences, and then you'll be ready to do worksheet 14. So here's sentence 1. Listen first. The aromatic yellow flowers bloom fairly often in the field. Read it with me. The aromatic yellow flowers bloom fairly often in the field. What bloom fairly often in the field? Flowers. Subject, noun. What is being said about flowers? Flowers bloom. Verb. I'm looking to see what they do next. Bloom how? Often. Adverb. How often? Fairly. Adverb. In, yes, preposition. In what? Field. Object of the preposition. The article. What kind of flowers? Yellow. Adjective. What kind of flowers? Aromatic. Adjective. Do you have to know what aromatic means to know it's an adjective? Nope. But it means they're nice. They have a nice aroma. They're smelly. The article adjective. Subject noun. Verb. Pattern 1. Skill check. In the field. Prepositional phrase. Period statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide between the complete subject and the complete predicate. Between flowers and bloom. And if we were underlining, complete subject, complete predicate. Simple subject is always the subject noun. Simple predicate, always the verb. Keep that in mind when you do your worksheets. All right, look at the next sentence. The girls broke into spontaneous laughter during the play. Read it with me. The girls broke into spontaneous laughter during the play. Who broke into spontaneous laughter during the play? Girls, subject noun. What is being said about girls? Girls broke into preposition. Into what? Laughter, object of the preposition. What kind of laughter? Spontaneous, adjective. During, preposition. During what? Play, object of the preposition. The, article adjective. The, article adjective. Subject noun, verb, pattern 1. Skill check. Into spontaneous laughter, prepositional phrase. During the play, prepositional phrase. Period statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide between the complete subject and the complete predicate. Between girls and broke. Okay, we don't need to do the underlining. All right, now I would like you to pause and go ahead and try the last sentence and then come back. All right, the sound of the melodious bells came from the 2 tall towers. What came from the 2 tall towers? Sound, subject noun. It can't be bells. Bells didn't come from the towers, and plus, this is a prepositional phrase. So what is being said about sound? Sound came, verb. From, preposition. From what? Towers, object of the preposition. How many towers? 2, adjective. What kind of towers? Tall, adjective. The, article adjective. All right, we've got some words left, so I'll do the first. That's an article adjective. And then I'll say of, preposition. Of what? Bells, object of the preposition. What kind of bells? Melodious, adjective. That means they have a beautiful sound. And then the, article adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Skill check. Of the melodious bells, prepositional phrase. From the 2 tall towers, prepositional phrase. Period statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide between the complete subject and complete predicate. Must go right in front of came because all of this goes with the subject. So that would be underlined once, and this would be underlined twice. All right, now it's time to do worksheet 14. Remember, if you have trouble editing the paragraph at the bottom, read it out loud first, and then contact me if you have questions or need help.